Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. There is a strange perversity in English law. How can it possibly be that a man who comes to this country, outstays his visa, then commits the most appalling crime, is allowed to stay in this country because he committed that crime? We have an Iranian man who did an appalling thing to his lodger, the R word, to his lodger. And simply by doing that act, by committing that crime, means he cannot be sent home. This is not right. Why should we be forced to keep this man a danger to the people of this country simply because he is a danger to the people of this country? It is perverse and it is wrong, and he needs to be sent home. And if he does face the ultimate penalty when he gets home, well, that's basically tough. He committed the crime, he does the time, or in this case, he ends his life. That is not our problem. Our problem is we have got a foreign national who should not be in this country, and he's doing this to women. It is wrong. Let's look at this story. So, an Iranian man who did a terrible thing to his lodger in London cannot be deported in case he is persecuted in his homeland for being a convicted arer of women. The Iranian who did this to his housemate in 2000 won a deportation appeal. The man was an outspoken critic of Iran's regime and would face persecution. He also claims his R conviction means he could receive the ultimate penalty. So this Iranian man has won the right to stay in the UK after a judge decided he would face persecution in his native country, a report states. Now, this cannot possibly be right. Why are we allowing these people to come to this country who undoubtedly pose an absolute danger to women, and then allow them to stay because their crime is so bad if we sent them home they'd be in trouble? Like I say, it's tough shit, matey. You do this you do this crime, you've got to face the penalty, and it's not our problem. Fine, you do whatever years you do in prison here, then immediately on release you should be put on a plane and sent back to whatever country you came from. And then if they want to persecute you again, that's up to them. It's not our problem. It should never be our problem. Our problem is we should not be importing monsters like this. And any government that sits there and refuses to protect the people of its own country should be treated with contempt and should be voted out of office. Now, thankfully this was a Labour government that this happened under, and they initially allowed his appeal to go through. But it's a Conservative government that still hasn't put him out of the country. So either party is, complicit in this. Both these main parties are allowing awful men who do terrible crimes to women to remain in this country. What is the point of a government if it cannot protect its own citizens, its own vulnerable citizens at that? This man apparently lied about being a former employee of MI5, and his appeal against deportation was successful. So he lies in court and is still successful. What is wrong with our lack of justice system? The Immigration Tribunal was told that the man first entered Britain in 1992 as a student and then stayed beyond the terms of his visa. The report adds that the man, referred to as Double X, it's hardly that, is it? Ard, a female lodger living in the same house in London in 2000. He was convicted a year later and jailed for 7 years. He would have done about 3.5. Immigration papers state he was never given any indication of showing insight into the impact on his victim and has not participated in any rehabilitation course. There's no rehabilitation for these people. Off with the ghoulies is the only way to stop it happening again. Either that or a rope and a drop. That's the actual response that we need, because it never happens again. There's no recidivism. After the conclusion of his jail term, authorities wanted to deport the man in 2005, Blair's government, but he launched a successful interim appeal. Despite no documentary evidence, the man has clung to a claim that he was previously recruited by the UK security services. He's lying. The man insisted MI5 headhunted him, as it used to mix in social circles with links to the Iranian embassy in London. The security services have refused to shed light on the claim one way or another because they won't and can't. He also shared his fears of receiving the ultimate sanction for his R conviction if he returns to Iran. Well, tough shit. Tough. You committed this crime. You go home. And if they want to do that to you, fine. Be a man. Stand up. Raise an army and fight the regime in Iran. But stop coming over here and R-ing women, you piece of human filth. In his ruling, Judge John Keith, a man who should stand trial immediately for the danger he poses to women by allowing this man to remain, said he could remain in the UK due to the risk of persecution he faces. We need to make sure that John Keith faces persecution. He should be jailed immediately for the danger he poses to women by allowing this piece of filth to remain in the country. He said he also accepted that there was indeed evidence the man had criticised the Iranian regime on the website. Tough shit. Tough shit. What's that got to do with anything? And authorities' knowledge of this man meant a real risk of interrogation and extensive detention. Good. Good. I hope he suffers as much as the woman that he did this terrible thing to. These people need to learn that just because you commit a terrible crime does not give you the right to stay in this country. Indeed, it should be the other way round. The moment you finish your jail term, you're put in a plane and flown completely out and never allowed back into this country. And if they do anything they want to you, that's fine by me. Yeah, because if the crime fits, the time fits the crime. It is disgusting that this man is still in this country. But that is what we get with the justice system that panders to the left, that is full of woke wankers that allow women to be R-ed by immigrants simply because they lack the balls to send these bastards home. And I'm coming up. And I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of complaints from lefty wankers going, oh, yes, but, yes, but, yes, but. Well, imagine it was your wife, your mother, your daughter. Imagine that the woman that he did this thing to was one of yours. Would you still feel compassionate and want him to remain? Because if you do, you're a monster yourself. But there's no way anyone who does this crime should be allowed to remain in this country, should be allowed to have the protections and privilege of being in this country. Not after you do that. He should be on a plane, straight home. And whatever the Iranian the Iranian authorities do to him, it is not our problem. And he will suffer the consequences of what he's done. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about pieces of filth like this. Anyway, I'm going to stop because I'm getting so angry about this. But thank you very much for listening. If you like what you're seeing here on the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Ring the bell for notifications for future output. Leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video. And remember, stay safe, stay well. Do not ever allow the government to take away your rights, freedoms and protections. And goodbye.